I'm sure most of us would have asked ourselves this question, but here it is again. Do we have any country in the world where Nigerians aren't living in or playing their trading? Think about that for a second. And with that, I welcome you to the Players Roundup Show with me, Emmanuel Sebastian, on Naija Footballers. I'm sure most of us watching will agree with me that there's one biggest game involving a Nigerian footballer this past weekend. And in terms of history made and record broken, and I'm talking about Wilfred Ndidi. He was in the matchday squad, actually also in the starting lineup for Leicester City in their 9-0 humiliation of Southampton right there at the St. Mary's Stadium in the English Premier League. It was a fantastic game for Ndidi. They were 5-0 up at halftime, and you need to see, professional Ndidi there making tackles despite the fact that they were 5-0 up at halftime. That was how we see Ndidi performing several times in the Leicester City lineup. But it was a demolition of Southampton, and what a game for them. They continued their fine run of form under manager Brendan Rodgers. And that win take them temporarily to second spot on the log, but they were being overrun by Manchester City, who later got the victory in their own and moved on to second spot. And talking about Leicester City, we also have Kelechi Iheanacho, who wasn't in the matchday squad, but we all at Naija Footballers send our heartfelt condolences to the player and to the family of David Nwachukwu, his personal assistant or aide, you might want to say, who lost his life in a ghastly motor accident on Saturday morning. We pray, God grants the family the fortitude to bear the loss. And moving on, the next player we have with us is Alex Iwobi. He was in the matchday squad and also in the starting lineup for Everton in their 3-2 loss right there at the American Express Stadium, or the Amex Stadium for short. Iwobi played 72 minutes in that game, but they eventually lost that game by 3-2. It was a late losing goal from an own goal from Lucas Digne, the defender. But sorry for Iwobi and his guys who couldn't nick the victory in that one, putting the pressure on manager Marco Silva. And talking about Brighton and Hove Albion, Leon Balogun was also in the squad, but was an unused substitute in that game as he snatched a victory late on in that encounter right there in the English Premier League. Next on our list is Fikayo Tomori, who has been a never-present stay in the starting lineup for Chelsea for Frank Lampard and his boys, who has been in fantastic run of form. Fikayo Tomori, as usual, was also in the centre-back pairing alongside Kotsuma, and there was another victory for the Blues, and Fikayo Tomori played 90 minutes in that game. So it was a deserved victory for Chelsea. They had some points lead in that game by 4-0. But they conceded 2 late goals in that game, eventually reducing the scoreline against Burnley out there at the Turf Moor by 4-2. Great one, fantastic stuff for Fikayo Tomori and the Chelsea side. We head to the Hawthorns now, where Semi Ajayi was in action for West Brom in their 2-2 draw against Charlton Athletic. It was a fantastic game for Semi Ajayi, but it didn't end too well for him. He conceded a late penalty in that game, which eventually gave Charlton Athletic a late equalizer from the spot in that game. So a sad end to the game for Semi Ajayi and West Bromwich Albion. But aside that, it was a fantastic game for him and the boys at West Bromwich Albion. And talking about Charlton Athletic, just to mention, there were 2 Nigerians as well on show in that game. We also have Oshilaja, who was on the bench but an unused substitute. But later on, Chuks Aneke came off in the 74th minute for Charlton Athletic. That'll be all in the English Premier League or out there in England. So let's travel now to France and all the way to Nantes, where Moses Simon was in action for his club side in their 1-0 surprising loss. Yes, surprising because Nantes has been in fine form in the French Ligue 1 this season. They are just second behind Paris Saint-Germain on the log, but Monaco, who had a bit of struggle, but just surprisingly got that victory. It was a 1-0 victory for Monaco, but Moses Simon played the full 90 minutes in that game, but just couldn't add to his 2 goals that he scored so far right there in the French Ligue 1. And Henry Onyekuru wasn't in the matchday squad for Monaco, having returned to training recently, so we hope to see him subsequently in future games for Monaco. Staying with France, we head all the way to the Stade Pierre-Mauroy, where Victor Osimhen was in the starting lineup for Lille. Yeah, Victor Osimhen is the most informed Nigerian striker out there, and he was in action for Lille out there in France. But he came off injured. That was a sad ending for Osimhen. He came off injured at the early stages in the second half, being replaced by Loic Remy. So it was a no-show for Osimhen. So we hope he gets a speedy recovery because the international break is just around the corner. So yes, Victor Osimhen, there you have it. They were up against Bordeaux, who also had Samuel Kalu and Dushmaja came off the bench, but they just couldn't make much of an impact. Now from France, we travel to Spain and we talk about two players, Kenneth Omero and Chidozie Awaziem. For Kenneth Omero, he wasn't in the matchday squad, having been injured, but Chidozie Awaziem was in the squad, wasn't in the starting lineup, but came up in the 52nd minute in the second half and helped his team keeping a clean sheet in a game they eventually won 1-0 against RCD Mallorca out there in the Spanish La Liga. Fantastic stuff for Awaziem, keeping the clean sheet out there in the Spanish La Liga with Leganés. From Spain, we move to Germany, where we have Jamie Collins. Jamie Collins is an ever-present in the SC Paderborn starting lineup. He was also in the starting lineup for Paderborn, starting at left back like we usually see out there in the Bundesliga as they secured their first win of the season. It was a 2-0 win against Fortuna Düsseldorf. Credit to Jamilu and the whole entire defense of the SC Paderborn backline for keeping that clean sheet and eventually getting a 2-0 victory against Fortuna Düsseldorf in the German Bundesliga. Still in Germany, we head over to Hoffenheim, where Kevin Akpoguma was in the starting lineup for Hoffenheim in their game against Hertha Berlin out there in the Bundesliga. It was an enticing game, I tell you, a 5-goal thriller. Kevin Akpoguma and Hoffenheim winning that game by 3-2. And for Hertha Berlin, we have 21-year-old Jordan Torunariga, who was in the squad but was an unused substitute for Hertha Berlin. Some interesting fact about Torunariga: he rejected the chance to represent the Super Eagles at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. It was said Getachew was disappointed at the time. But Torunariga has since pledged allegiance to the German national team, but is yet to be capped at senior level. So we hope he have a change of heart in future times. So from Germany, we head all the way to Italy to talk about one man who still in scoring fine form for his club side out there in the Italian Serie B. I'm talking about Simi Nwankwo, who was also on the score sheet for Crotone in their game against Venezia in the Italian Serie B out there in Italy. Simi Nwankwo got a brace in that game. His team trailed earlier on in the game and he got the leveler and also got the second goal, completing his brace in that game against Venezia out there in the Italian Serie B. Great stuff from Simi Nwankwo. From Italy, we head all the way to Belgium, and one man was the savior of the day for his club side. I'm talking about David Okereke. He was on the starting lineup for Club Brugge in their game against Standard Liège out there in Belgium. His team trailed earlier on. They considered to go 5 minutes in that game, but David Okereke got the leveler for his team and they eventually drew that game 1 apiece. So great one for David Okereke, who started in place of his compatriot Emmanuel Dennis, repaying the fate of his manager Philippe Clement out there in the Belgian league. And from Belgium, Turkey will be our final destination, and we head to Fenerbahce, where Victor Moses was in action for his club side against Konyaspor in the Turkish Super League. Victor Moses, who has been injured for close to 2 months, was in the starting lineup for his club side, Fenerbahce. It was a 5-1 victory for Fenerbahce, and Victor Moses had a fantastic game. It was great to see Victor Moses get a run out again out there in Turkey with his club side, Fenerbahce, on loan from Chelsea. But just to remind you, Victor Moses retired from national duties for the Super Eagles prior to the AFCON, so we won't be seeing Victor Moses donning the green and white jerseys of the Super Eagles. Staying with Turkey, we head to Bursaspor, where Shehu Abdullahi showed his versatility for Bursaspor out there in Turkey, starting at the heart of the defense. Shehu Abdullahi, who we know as a fullback, but started that game at the heart of the defense for Bursaspor, who eventually won that game by 2-1 against Istanbulspor out there in the Turkish First League. So great win for Shehu Abdullahi and his club side, Bursaspor, out there in Turkey. So there you have it, guys. Players Roundup show with me on Naija Footballers.